Scandal has claimed the first ministerial scalp today as the Justice Minister, Shahid Malik, was forced to step down. The MP for Dewsbury is being investigated for alleged claims he breached the ministerial code by benefiting from subsidised rent. Our political correspondent, Carol Walker, reports.
Doesn't mean I'm happy about it.
Just hours before he was forced out of his job, Shahid Malik was vehemently protesting his innocence, claiming the media were out for blood.
I have absolutely nothing to apologise for. I've done nothing wrong. I've not been at the periphery of the rules. I haven't abused the rules. I've been absolutely at the core of the rules, and at every opportunity I've sought advice to ensure that I was always at the core of the rules.
A flat-screen television costing £2,100 was one of the claims totalling more than £66,000 that Shahid Malik made on his second home's allowance. The authorities would only pay half the cost of that TV.
This isn't a helipad, it's not a tennis court, it's not horse manure, it's not a moat, it's not a country estate. This is £1,050 for a television.
No contrition there. He dismissed as fabrication claims that the rent he paid on his constituency home was just £100 a week. But the investigation will focus on allegations he failed to declare as subsidised rent. Shahid Malik is the latest casualty of a week of revelations in the Telegraph, which obtained details of all MPs' expenses. Thousands of pounds are being repaid as MPs struggle to save their reputations.
The stories of claims for swimming pools, moats and chandeliers has provoked a new mood of public hostility towards politicians here. The latest opinion poll suggests a slump in support for Labour, with the Conservatives suffering too. And people are finding different ways of expressing their anger.
As I pointed out a moment ago.
On Question Time last night, the Housing Minister Margaret Beckett was not the only panellist who struggled to convince the audience. Callers to the 5 Live phone-in this morning queued up to complain at the behaviour of MPs. And this was a stunt captured on YouTube as activists dug a pound sign into the lawn of the Conservative frontbencher Alan Duncan, who's repaying thousands of pounds he claimed for garden maintenance. The independent mayor of Middlesbrough, himself a former police chief, has asked the Metropolitan Police to investigate whether any MP has committed a criminal offence.
As far as I'm concerned, the evidence is there to suggest that criminality under false accounting rules has occurred, and that needs to be investigated. And on top of that, it's not for MPs to say that we're innocent or guilty. It's for the process to decide that.
One veteran commentator says it marks a new phase in politics.
I think it's unprecedented. I can't remember it. All the previous scandals were concentrated on one individual, Jack Perfumer, whatever it might be, John Stonehouse. Now it seems to me to be anger against the whole parliamentary system, in particular against what I believe is almost a culture of corruption that developed in the House of Commons.
With one newspaper also campaigning for MPs to be brought to justice, the mood here could hardly be blacker. Carol Walker, BBC News, Westminster.
Well, this morning, people in Dewsbury have been reacting to the news that their MP stepped down as Justice Minister. Chris Buckler is there for us now. Chris.
Well, Shahid Malik is regarded as something of a rising star within the Labour Party. Only an MP since 2005, he's already a Justice Minister with a salary of around £95,000. So you can imagine when it was revealed that his expenses total some £66,000 in just 3 years, there's been some anger here in his constituency. His expenses under scrutiny, Shahid Malik found himself under interrogation in his own home. The questions weren't about this property, but instead his second home in London. In interview after interview, in the kitchen of his main house in Dewsbury, he was defiant, insisting he'd nothing to apologise for.
My constituents would expect this to be my main residence. I'm proud that it is.
But just an hour later, there was a sudden change of heart. The announcement that he was stepping down as Justice Minister pending an inquiry wasn't made by Shahid Malik nor his constituency office. It was made at Westminster. However, in Dewsbury, many had questions about the nearly £67,000 he claimed over 3 years.
Disgusting. I think it's absolutely disgusting.
Some of us that will be travelling to Wales and York and Newcastle, and we don't get a second home allowance.
The more money that people earn, the more they want to do other people out of money.
This man does rent Mr Malik his home in Dewsbury. The Daily Telegraph claimed he charges the MP just £100 a week. He disputes that, but he wouldn't say today how much he was paid. In this morning's interviews, Mr Malik said the media needed to draw a line under the expenses scandal. But it's clear that someone is still asking questions. Well, the Prime Minister's spokesman says that nobody is going to step into Shahid Malik's place for the minute. And if after this inquiry is cleared, he will once again become Justice Minister. But we are, of course, wanting to hear more from Mr Malik himself, now that things have changed since that first batch of interviews. And it's expected that he may give a news conference sometime this afternoon.
Chris Buckler, thanks very much. Well, as we've seen, the public anger over MPs' expenses increases by the day. Some people are